Good evening to all of you. I, Dr. Megha Sharma, on behalf of Department of Accountancy, welcomes you all on second day of our webinar in association with Bombay Stock Exchange. Dear participants, yesterday we had an insightful session on derivatives by our speaker, Dr. V. Aditya Srinivas. Today, Dr. Aditya will speak about portfolio management. We welcome you, sir, and request you to start with your session.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for this patient listening and giving me this opportunity. So I will just share my screen and we can start with the topic of portfolio management, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Basically, the word portfolio, see the word portfolio refers to group of shares. So when you buy shares of different companies,
Sir,
it is called as a yes,
sir, sir, you can go with slideshow mode
sure,
so
sure,
that
sure,
we can have
sure.
full screen. No?
Yes, yes. 1 minute. Correct? Yes.
Yes, sir,
See,
perfect.
basically, yes. See, basically, portfolio refers to group of shares, friends. So when you buy shares of different companies from different sectors, it is called as a portfolio, correct? That is typically called as a portfolio. See, the whole objective here of portfolio management is to get higher returns with relatively lesser degree of risk. So that is the main objective. So our normal thumb rule of investment says higher the risk, higher the return. But here an attempt is made so that you get relatively decent returns with lesser amount of risk taken, because ultimately risk is what everybody is scared of, and obviously one needs to be cautious also. So portfolio management will refer to that you buy fundamentally very sound companies and not only buy them but analyze them regularly, because that is something very important. So if you buy fundamentally good companies and if you analyze them, then obviously in the long term you will be able to generate good amount of wealth. Plus, always remember that it involves regular checkup of portfolio. That means you once you have bought the stocks, the story doesn't end there. In fact, you need to basically keep on checking the parameters of the stocks on a quarterly basis so that you can take a proper judgment. So that is what the whole objective of this exercise of portfolio management is. Now, in our stock market, friends, you can make different kinds of portfolio depending upon your risk and return appetite. You can have a large cap stocks only portfolio. You can have a mid cap stock portfolio. You can have small cap stock portfolio. Then you can have a dividend paying stock portfolio and also a sectoral portfolio. So these different portfolios will have different kinds of risk and return. Distinct, friends. You can have different kinds of risk and return. What I can say. The takeaways from different kind of portfolio. So we will try to analyze each one of them. See, large cap portfolio, friends, always remember that large cap portfolio refers to that your portfolio will have very standard and well established companies only. Typically, you can select the companies from BSE Sensex or say BSE 100. So these are all top-notch companies, friends, which basically will have large business, well-established business models, steady cash flows, and they are able to give decent returns. Ideal size of your portfolio should not be more than 15, friends. 15 to 20 is max you should have. Plus here the objective with this kind of portfolio is you will get stable returns with lesser degree of risk. If you take a simple example, that BSE Sensex was formed in 1979. So from 1979 till 2020, that is for last 40 years, if we see, the average return is 16.5% CAGR, compounded annual growth rate. So obviously, if you see, this is the biggest statistical proof that in the long term, equities outperform all other asset class. So that is something we need to, friends, keep it in mind. So in the long term, equity markets will always outperform other asset classes. So large cap portfolio is one of the most preferred portfolio which one can basically always have, and that is relatively a more safe and secure way to what I can say, generating better returns with lesser degree of risk. In fact, if I share with you my own personal portfolio, it is of this kind, only consisting of large cap stocks from BSE Sensex. That is the top 30 companies only. Second kind of portfolio, if we see, that could be of mid-cap shares. See, always remember that mid-cap stocks are those stocks which typically will rise very fast when markets are good. But at the same time, They fall like pin of cards when markets are weak. So always remember that mid-cap stocks will always have high degree of risk and return. So that is why one needs to be very careful when you are investing in a mid-cap portfolio, friends. Mid-cap stocks are relatively risky because they will tend to have lesser volume. Volume refers to number of shares. So typically what happens is the volumes are less. So when the volumes are less, what happens is that if the operator, a manipulator enters, or even a high net worth individual, if he is selling a big chunk of shares, the stock will fall like anything. It will fall like pin of cards, and retail investors typically get trapped into this. So that is why mid-cap stocks, when you invest, you should always have a very clear-cut exit strategy. Exit strategy means that if you are getting 10 to 12% profit, once you have invested, and if you are getting 10 to 12% profit, it is ideal time to exit. Always remember that is something very vital. You should not wait for long. Typically what happens in mid cap and small cap, that people wait for long and they finally sell the stock at a huge loss. Small cap portfolio obviously will be even further riskier because these typically small cap stocks are very thinly traded. Thinly traded means the volume is very less. So typically they crash out, and when they crash, the investors are left in distress. So that is something we need to be very cautious, friends. So always remember that small cap portfolio is also something which is not that much advisable. Correct? That is not advisable because it creates high degree of risk. Always remember that if you are investing in small cap and mid cap portfolio, it is very important that you track their share prices very often, and the moment you get 10 to 12% return, it is better you book profit once. That is something very vital. In large cap portfolio, you can always hold those stocks for longer duration because there your objective can be wealth creation, because those stocks, even if they go down temporarily, they have huge tendency to bounce back. Whereas in mid cap and small cap, typically what happens is the stocks don't bounce back. So that is something we need to keep it in mind. Then we can always have something known as a dividend paying portfolio. See, what is a dividend paying stocks, friends? See, these are those stocks which are obviously regularly paying dividend. So one thing is very clear, they are fundamentally extremely sound. These are fundamentally sound companies who regularly pay dividend. So obviously, if you have created a portfolio of these kind of shares, then you will be getting regular return in the form of dividends, and at the same time, since the stocks are fundamentally sound, even the price movement is reasonable. Correct? So here you need not have that kind of fear what you can have in basically mid cap and small cap stocks. So dividend paying stocks can be a good strategy to buy upon. Then if we talk of sectoral portfolio, see, sectoral portfolio means that you are investing your money in only one sector. That means you buy, say, Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Tech Mahindra. That means your portfolio consists of only IT shares. If you are having Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy, Lupin, then basically you are having only pharma shares. So obviously the risk and return will be higher. If this sector performs well, either due to some favorable government announcement or in general, if the sector is performing well, then obviously you will be able to generate higher amount of return. But if there is a problem in the sector, say for example real estate, telecom, which have not been able to perform well for quite some time, your portfolio will give you less returns also, and in fact even loss also. So that is why if you invest in a sectoral portfolio, you need to be mentally prepared that you are going to take higher amount of risk and return both. See, whenever you buy any particular stock, friends, whether it is large cap, mid cap, or small cap, always remember to check the following fundamentals of the company. This is something very important, friends. See, whenever you buy a stock now, first parameter is that whether the gross profit is rising or not. Gross profit refers to sales revenue. So unless sales revenue rises, obviously company won't survive only because from sales revenue, gross profit, all expenses are debited, and then what is left out is net profit. So it is very important that gross profit has to rise, friends. If gross profit is rising, that means company will relatively perform in a better way. Second is net profit, friends. See, net profit refers to, simple logic is, net profit primarily means that you are able to, if net profit goes up, your mutual funds and FIIs will buy the shares. Mutual funds and foreign institutional investors will buy the shares, and when they buy the shares, obviously the stock price goes up. So that is why net profit is also equally important, friends. Net profit has to rise. If gross profit is rising, net profit is rising, yes, definitely you will tend to make more profits in the long term, and the stock price will always rise. Third is earnings per share. See, EPS is nothing but net profit divided by total number of shares. So if EPS goes up, then obviously you are making good amount of profit. That means company is doing well. And if EPS is rising 100%, the stock price will also rise, friends. Fourth is PE ratio, price earning ratio. See, price earning ratio is a valuation ratio, friends. And always remember, valuation is an art, not a science. We take a simple example. See, Google invested 33,000 crore rupees. Google invested 33,000 crore rupees and stake in Reliance Jio when the price of Reliance Industries was at 2,100 rupee. So please understand that even at 2,100, Google is investing. That means for them, even 2,100 is a cheaper valuation, whereas for a retail investor, 2,100 is a very costly valuation. So please understand that valuation is an art, not a science. So different investors will evaluate the valuation from a different perspective. So that is why PE ratio is something very important. As I already told you, that any company which is regularly giving high dividends can always be considered for buying, because dividends are paid only out of net profit. So if a company is giving regular dividends, then obviously it is fundamentally a very sound company. So that particular point we have to keep it in mind. Finally, order book. See, order book refers to, basically order book refers to what is the total quantum of work that a company has. So higher the order book will result into more profitability in the long term, because order book will get converted into cash flow. So if the order book of the company is sound, obviously it will be able to get more work in the future, and accordingly more profits will get generated. Out of all these factors, friends, if you take my personal opinion, that whenever I buy a stock, these are the two things which I give most importance. One is basically net profit of the company, and second is debt equity ratio. These two things are very vital, very critical. See, net profit, why it is important? Because if net profit rises, then only FIIs and mutual funds will basically buy the share. Please understand that. FII and mutual fund will buy the share only if net profit is rising. And unless FII and mutual fund buy the share, the stock price does not rise, friends. See, as a retail investor, I and you will buy 100 share, 200 share. So that won't lead to what I can say, rise in the share price. It is only when institutions buy the share, then only the stock price will rise. And that is why FII and mutual funds must buy the stock. Then basically the stock price will rise. And they always go with the simple parameter of net profit, that net profit has to rise. Because if net profit is not rising, then there is no point in doing that business. The concept of opportunity cost of capital, correct? If net profit is not rising, then it is far better to wind up the business and keep that money in FD, because FD will in any case give you risk-free rate of return. And second is, as I told you, friends, zero debt equity ratio. That is very important. See, we take certain examples. Kingfisher, once second largest airline of India, ultimately had to shut down because it took 7,000 crore rupees of loan, but it could not pay back. Jet Airways, it had to shut down. 22,000 people lost their jobs because 8,000 crore rupees wasted with loans were taken, they could not pay it back. Reliance Communication, 500 plus rupee stock today available for 1 rupee. Why? Because still 39,000 crore rupees of loan is pending. 39,000 crore, now friends. So you can imagine there are plethora of other examples also. So please understand that a company which has a zero debt equity ratio is always bound to perform, for the simple reason, because if there is zero debt equity ratio, obviously the company is going to outperform because it does not have any financial obligation. Always remember, friends, that once you have created a portfolio, restructuring is equally important. Restructuring means regular checkup. So basically 4 steps you need to keep it in mind. The first is that every quarter when companies give result, every quarter we have to check the quarterly results of the company, that whether the said parameters like gross profit, net profit, those things are rising or not. So checking quarterly results is something very vital. Then second is you have to analyze the parameters. What parameters we have discussed in quarterly results, whether these parameters are showing signs of improvement or there is a problem. If you witness any chronic problem means what? If there is something chronically wrong, that means quarter on quarter the profit is reducing, or quarter on quarter the debt equity ratio is rising, that is more and more loans are getting accumulated, then definitely there is a chronic problem. And fourth step, we need to remove that stock and add a new company which has better fundamentals. Please understand, friends, that only creating portfolio is not sufficient enough. We need to regularly analyze, restructure the portfolio. That will only help you to generate better returns in the long term. What could be the ideal portfolio strategy? See, ideal portfolio strategy is that you should have a portfolio which is diversified in nature. So that is something very vital. Diversified means you should have a portfolio which typically has large cap stocks from different sectors. So that is something very important. That large cap stocks from different sectors is something very important. So that is one thing we need to keep it in mind. Second, as I told you, that if you can go with mid cap and small cap only if you have relatively risk taking ability, then only go with that, otherwise tend to avoid it. So if you want to go with mid cap and small cap stocks, please understand you need to have a high risk taking ability, then only you will be doing with that. And always remember, quarterly checking fundamentals is a must. So if you do this ideal portfolio strategy, you will be generating very good amount of returns. Plus, friends, always remember that when you invest in markets, these things are very important. First, know-how of the world economy. Why? See, always remember, Indian stock markets to a large extent are affected by foreign flows. So unless you are aware that what is happening at the global level, you won't be able to get a feel that what kind of flows will come into the markets. For example, if you see, the current entire stock market rally is only and only because of US Federal Reserve. Why? Because US Federal Reserve announced an economic package of $2.5 trillion. Now that money which US Federal Reserve has printed through foreign institutional investors are basically coming into Indian stock market and other emerging stock markets. So that is something we have to, friends, keep it in mind. So please understand that as far as Federal Reserve is concerned, that is the epicenter of stock market rally always. So whenever they reduce interest rates, you will find globally stock markets go up, and when they increase interest rates, globally stock markets come down. This one slide is very interesting, friends. It shows year on year the net investment made by foreign institutional investors and by mutual funds. Here you can clearly observe that from 2003 to 2014, from 2003 to 2014, foreign institutional investors were investing in a huge way, in a big way they were putting money, whereas mutual funds were tepid investors. They were not basically getting too much of inflows. But in the last 5 years, friends, I can surely say that mutual funds have become a very important entity as far as the fund flows are concerned. So as far as mutual fund is concerned, you can very well see that in 2015, The foreigners invested only 17,000 crore. Mutual funds invested 71,000 crore. In 2016, FIIs invested 21,000 crore. Mutual funds invested 47,000 crore. In 2017, when GST came, FIIs invested 53,000 crore. Mutual funds invested 1,12,000 crore. And if you see 2018, friends, if you talk of 2018, FIIs were net sellers only to the tune of 32,000 crore, whereas mutual funds invested 1,20,000 crore. In fact, 2018, friends, is the only year in history of Indian stock market when, even though the foreigners were net sellers, we were able to generate positive return of 5.6%. The index gave a positive return of 5.6% only because of mutual funds. Yes, in last 2 years, 2019 and 2020, FIIs have played a very vital role because they have been consistently investing, especially in 2020 when mutual funds were net sellers only. See why mutual funds have become net sellers in recent months, for the simple reason that they feel that these valuation levels are very high, whereas FIIs are betting on the future growth story of India, correct? And that is the reason why they are pouring money in a very big way. In fact, in January, February 2021, even in the current year, so far they have invested 29,000 crore rupees, friends. Just see the figures, 29,000 crore rupees they have already invested in Indian stock market. So their flows are coming in a big way, friends, because they are confident that Indian economy will, the GDP will bounce back like anything once we are relatively coming out of this pandemic situation. This is a very interesting slide, friends. It shows year-end FII investment. See, you can very well see that from 2007 to basically 2007 to 2020, the various FII money which has come into, and the index figures and the return given by BSE Sensex. Here you can very well see only 3 times we gave negative return. 2008 global financial crisis, so there we gave a negative return of 52%. 2011 European Union crisis, there we gave a negative return of 24%. And 2015 China crisis, we gave a negative return of 5%. Barring that, we have always been able to deliver positive returns, friends. So that is why in the long term, friends, always remember that you will definitely be able to make high amount of return, provided you basically are invested in fundamentally good companies, large cap stocks, and you patiently give time to your investments. So with this, friends, I can conclude my presentation, and now we can go for question answer session. So please feel free to ask questions. You can post your question in the chat box also, or basically you can unmute and ask me, whatever you are comfortable with.
Yes.
Sir, as per your experience, what is the best portfolio, sectoral or mixed? Obviously obviously mixed one. See, Mahipal, please understand that when you are having a diversified portfolio or a mixed portfolio, the risk is always less. Why? Because you are buying shares from different sectors. So different sectors will behave in different way. For example, if you see during the pandemic also, auto, IT, pharma shares performed very well. Travel and tourism, then basically hospitality, real estate were worst hit. So if you have a diversified portfolio, the risk is bifurcated. Suppose you have a sectoral portfolio where you have invested entire thing in one sector, and if that sector doesn't perform, then obviously you will go for a toss. So always remember that a diversified portfolio and a large cap stock portfolio is always more better and a safer option to go with. See, second is Karan, you can always easily get, even if you write in Google that high dividend paying stocks, you will get the list of them. Easily it is available on the internet. You can just write down high dividend paying stocks and you will get those details. Especially if you see even our BSE Limited is a very high dividend paying stock. The dividend yield is greater than 6%. See, friends, one simple strategy to make money in stock market is that you buy good quality shares on a monthly basis. Don't invest lump sum amount in one shot. Correct. If you ask me, what I typically do is that every month when the market is down, on 1 or 2 days when the market is down by 500 points, accumulate Reliance, HDFC, Infosys, those shares only, because they are fundamentally extremely sound, very large cap companies, and those stocks always rise even if there is a temporary fall in the price. So that is always a more better and a safer strategy to go with. Yes, one very nice question, Meet, you have asked that whenever market rises, gold falls and vice versa. Correct. See, always remember gold has inverse relationship with three things. Number one, stock market. Number two, world economy data. And number three, US economy. That means in a nutshell, you have to remember that whenever there is a bad news at the global level, the gold prices will rise. And whenever there is good news at a global level, gold prices will fall. So that is the simple point you have to remember. Correct. Whenever there is bad news at the global level, gold prices will always go up. Gold behaves inversely. Why? Because gold is most liquid asset after cash. Correct. Gold is the most liquid asset after cash. So typically what happens is, basically whenever you are buying gold, always remember, in gold I would not suggest to buy physical gold, but it is better you buy gold ETF. That is always a better option, to buy gold ETF, because when you buy gold ETF, it will come in the electronic form in your demat account, where 1 unit is equal to 1 gram of gold. Correct. That point is something very important, friends. So you should have at least 10 to 15% exposure in gold. That will help you to basically get good amount of return in the long term. See, simple, Agam, you take one company, you can take, say, for example, Reliance Industry. So now how will you check it? See, number one, the net profit of this company is more than 10,000 crore rupees in a quarter. So obviously net profit is all-time high, correct? Plus every quarter it is able to register good growth. It has recently become a zero debt company also. Why it is a zero debt company? For the simple reason that it sold 21% equity stake from Reliance Jio, and it collected more than 2 lakh crore rupees, whereas the debt capital was only 1.61 lakh crore. Correct. So obviously this is something you have to identify. See, if you want to see any company's fundamental, you can go to screener.in. Screener.in is a website that gives very good analysis of fundamentals. Correct. So that is something you can always need to keep it out. See, always remember, friends, as I tell you, that debt equity ratio, if you want to see Reliance, this thing, what I can say, Reliance Communications, RCOM, Anil Ambani's company, what happened to the stock from 700 rupees, from 500 rupees, stock is less than 1 rupee. Why this happened? Because the company kept on borrowing loans and ultimately it could not pay off. So please understand that one needs to be very cautious when you are buying stocks, and especially from a debt equity point of view. See, obviously, Kishan, you will definitely, if you are buying at different prices, obviously the profit will also be different. Now, if you bought certain shares at one level, and then if you basically sell the shares at higher price, and then again if you buy, obviously that will change the difference in profit, because your average cost of buying will go down, and that is why I told you, Kishan, it is always better to buy on a monthly basis. Correct. That is something important. When you buy on a monthly basis, your average cost of capital will go down, and that will help you to perform well in the long term. No, basically high debt equity ratio will never be able to have high EPS, for the simple reason, Janvi, please understand, if you have a high debt equity ratio, that means more amount of loans are taken. If more loans are taken, you will have to pay more interest on those loans. So obviously your net profit will never rise. Na? What is net profit? Net profit is the final amount after paying all interest, depreciation and other things. So if the debt equity ratio is on the higher side, in no case you will be having higher profits. Correct. So do not invest in those companies. Again, I will tell you, friends, see, if I put it other way, you will understand it easily. See, during lockdown, who was the happiest person? The person who did not have an EMI on his head. Correct. If you don't have a housing loan to repay, if you don't have any car loan outstanding, any two-wheeler loan outstanding, obviously you are the happiest person. So please keep that particular point in mind. Index funds is always a better option, Shreyas, because index fund is called as passive fund management strategy, in which the fund will try to replicate an index. So if you are investing in an index fund, long-term index always rises. So obviously your average return will be all good, and plus risk is also very less because index will always have top-notch companies. So always you should be investing in an index fund. Please understand that. You can do a good SIP in an index fund and then leave it. Yes. See, Viral, you can always do with mutual fund SIP also monthly investment, and you can do that in directly in stocks also. I, for example, if you take my own example, I do it in both. That is, I have my own SIPs running, but at the same time, I myself directly invest in stocks when the market is down on a monthly basis. So you can do it both ways because those both the methods will be relatively safe, secure, and in the long term, you will be able to generate good amount of wealth. So your profits will be high because your average cost of buying will go down. So keep that particular point in mind. See, DIIs are selling because they feel that these valuations are very high. Valuation means the price earning ratio of Nifty and Sensex is around 38. So that is why they feel that the valuations are high. But to be very frank, what my view is that valuations are not high if you compare it at the global level. See, this year index gave a return of 15%, BSE NSE index, whereas Nasdaq gave a return of 44%. Even Asian markets have given a return of 17 to 19%. So if you see it in absolute terms, yes, you will find that our markets have become costly. But if you compare it, then no, they are still relatively, what I can say, there is still room for the markets to go up. Plus, you will see that markets are a function of liquidity. So if liquidity is coming in, obviously, please understand that the market is going to rise only. Plus, from where this liquidity is coming, it is coming from US Federal Reserve. US Federal Reserve had US Federal Reserve had pumped in $2.5 trillion, correct? So that huge amount of capital is basically coming into stock markets. Yes, as a beginner, Meet, you should always enter the stock markets with blue chip companies only. That is always a more safe and secured way. That you buy stocks which are blue chip in nature. Blue chip companies means fundamentally very sound companies, correct? So it is always better that you buy blue chip companies which are fundamentally sound, have strong cash flow, so that in long term you are able to generate good amount of money with them. See, breakout is a word used in technical analysis. Breakout means the stock keeps on moving around a certain level and then suddenly it goes up. So that is typically called as a breakout. That is, after breakout, the stock has substantial upside and at least 10-15% return is sure. But please understand that you need to be very cautious in doing technical analysis, and the person doing it should have thorough knowledge. Otherwise, at times you get trapped also, because if there is a breakout and if it is not sustained, then stock may go down and ultimately you may end up getting your capital blocked into that stock. See, book value, to be very frank, is more or less now not that viable, because lot of, if you see the market price will always be higher than book value, correct? Book value is a concept which just tells you that if the company shuts down, what is the amount you are going to get back. Suppose you have 100 demat shares in your account and Reliance Industry shuts down. I think the book value of Reliance is 850 rupees. So you will get basically 85,000 rupees back, correct? And that too only if after paying to all basically this thing, what I can say, debenture holder, bond holders and loan holders. So rather better thing is dividend yield. If you go with a dividend yield, any company which has a dividend yield of 4% or more is 100% likely to be invested, because that is something fundamentally very sound, and in the long term those kind of stocks will give you good return. So dividend yield of 4% or greater should be your benchmark. Now, see, Kishan, basically, whether you should book profit, as I told you, that if you are getting profit in the range of 12 to 15%, you can book your profit. But there is another strategy also, which is called as a wealth creation strategy, or if I simply put it, Warren Buffett strategy. In that strategy, you are not selling a stock. You buy it and you hold it for 10, 15, 20 years. So that will help you to generate large amount of wealth in the long term. But again, for that, you have to have a lot of patience. For example, if you take my own example, this is what I do. I buy, but I never sell anything. Correct? No, that is my view of looking at it, because I am confident that India will perform. So if you have such a long view about India, a strong view about Indian economy, then you can follow that strategy.
Sir, should we add at the higher price or no?
Yes, please. Can you repeat?
Sir, should we add that stocks at higher price?
Yes, you can add it at higher price also. Say but please understand, when you are adding it at a higher price, you will also get an opportunity to add it at a lower price. Na? So basically what you can do, that every month, suppose you make a target that I want to accumulate 1000 Reliance Industries. You buy only on the day when it is in negative territory. It is down by 1%, it is down by 0.5%, it is down by 2%. Only buy on that day. So obviously every time you will get that opportunity.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful guidance session on our portfolio management topic. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our management for allowing us to conduct such a webinar. I thank our principal ma'am, vice principal sir, for encouraging us to organize such a webinars. I would like to thank our Sangeeta ma'am, our HOD, for supporting us in conducting such webinar. Lastly, I thank our participants, without whom this webinar wouldn't be a success. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I also enjoyed interacting with the students. It was really heartening. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. We also learned various new terms, sir. And really,
Yes, sir.
conduct such events. So
Yes, sure. You can, ma'am, just get in touch with Shahnaz, and every month we
Yes.
can basically organize such kind of interesting sessions.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Sure.
I will be in touch with you.
very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We can end the session, ma'am, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, participants.
thank you, everyone.